Leo's insights are presented to challenge, inform, and encourage you in your quest to break free from school-based approaches to education. Building upon a foundation of unschooling, we sincerely hope these insights help you to consider how education can be truly unlimited.
A simple fact about history is that it becomes increasingly more interesting with age. That is, as we get older, we have more of it on which to reflect. And I must admit that I've been accumulating a fair bit of history, which I believe is saying I'm aging. However, aging also provides me with some credibility when describing something that may have occurred long before the majority of my listeners were even born. I was actually there and really did experience those events at that time. I want to share some of this history with you, hoping to help you understand how we've come to this place and to encourage you to actively defend your rightful authority in the education of your children. I also hope to help you avoid returning to the very place we have all wanted to escape those many years ago, a sentiment I believe continues to this day. Home education has always been a part of Alberta's story. Indeed, what do you think happened before the creation of public schools? Even after the advent of compulsory schools, some folks didn't want their children leaving home or were just too isolated to attend. These students were either homeschooled or schooled at home using a distance learning approach, then called correspondence school, which later morphed into the soon to be defunct Alberta distance learning, now replaced with modern online programming. I believe it is fair to say that there's always been parents who simply did not trust the government to educate their children. However, following the secularization of the public system in the 60s and 70s, the province underwent a bit of a revolution in education that saw not only the creation of many private schools, but what can accurately be described as the beginning of the home education movement during the 1980s. In the beginning, parents who chose to train and teach their own children at home had to be under the supervision of the local school board, which at the time was bordered within the local municipality. Most of these authorities were either ambivalent or tolerant of this new movement as it was relatively small. The best schools provided books, but funding never was. Most schools believed home education was or should be school at home. Some of these local boards, however, were genuinely confused as to what to do with those demanding the right to home educate, while others were openly hostile. There was a real need to do something regarding the persecution of parents choosing to home educate. This was the environment and this was the time when the Alberta Home Education Association, or AHEA, was created. There was a reason or a purpose for the creation of this provincial agency, which was primarily to find or encourage a solution to the unpredictable ways that home educators were being treated, some of which bordered on abusive. It should be noted that there was another agency created to represent the home educating community of the late 1980s. The two competing agencies can best be delineated by their respective understanding of parental versus governmental authority. The other agency advocated for the separation of the two, while AHEA simply accepted the claims of government having authority in the education of the province's children. Needless to say, the winner ended up being AHEA, as, well, like today, most people simply accepted, indeed normalized, governmental schools and programs as the standard without so much as questioning why or how government came to have this authority. So while the Alberta Home Education Association may have had good intentions when representing the home educated, it has never challenged the government claim to having greater authority than parents in education. In fact, he has started with a subservient, albeit demanding approach to seeking government for greater autonomy respecting home education. Still, it should be clear that from the start, AHEA has sought permission from the government to do what God has clearly intended to be a parental prerogative and responsibility. It is important for today's home educators to know this bit of history as it allows us to understand why and for what purpose AHEA was created.
We trust you were blessed by today's presentation. For more helpful information to guide you in your home education journey, please visit educationunlimited.ca and leogaumont.com. Be sure to like us and share us on Facebook.